May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our salvation. Amen. Please be seated. Both our first reading and our gospel reading today engage with the vital importance of Sabbath in the lived experience of the Jewish people. Here's how Isaiah talks about Sabbath. If you refrain from trampling the Sabbath, from pursuing your own interests on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight and the holy day of the Lord honorable, if you honor it, not going your own ways, serving your own interests or pursuing your own affairs, then you shall take delight in the Lord, and I will make you ride upon the heights of the earth. In Isaiah, keeping Sabbath is exalted, and not primarily as the fulfillment of a commandment, but more so as part of Isaiah's broader emphasis on the importance of justice and of caring for the most vulnerable. It might not be immediately clear, however, how observing the Sabbath is connected to justice, so a brief explanation may be in order. In the book of Exodus, the longest exposition given to any of the 10 commandments is the exposition of the Sabbath commandment. Exodus says this about Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, but he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Importantly, Sabbath applies to servants, animals, and foreigners, and not just to the people of the covenant. As such, Sabbath is a moment of rest for all of creation, causing everyone to pause their predominant economic modes of relating. And as such, Sabbath can be a moment of recalibration, restoring to everyone those parts of their God-given humanity that are so often neglected on the other 6 days of the week. And this recalibration is not only for the privileged and the powerful, it is meant for all. No one is excluded from the gift of Sabbath. To the extent that Sabbath is practiced universally, then, Sabbath becomes a tool of peace, restoration, and liberation. Of course, in our gospel reading, we encounter something quite different in the familiar terrain of conflict between Jesus and the religious elite. The religious elite, of course, do not condone healing or exorcism on the Sabbath. But in Jesus' interpretation, these activities do not constitute work, but rather they are fundamentally acts of liberation. And for Jesus, any practice of liberation is most certainly in the spirit of the Sabbath. As modern people who live in a society where commerce never stops and who have very little acquaintance with Sabbath, it's easy for us to cheer Jesus on as he speaks truth to power. We want to be on the side of the oppressed. That is, of course, until we leave church to go out to lunch without giving a second thought to those washing dishes in the kitchen, likely for close to minimum wage, and with little time for family or rest if they want to make ends meet. Further, given the current reign of terror being perpetrated against immigrants in our nation, the labor of immigrants is being pushed even further into the shadows, where unscrupulous employers can take advantage of immigrants' inability to speak out against injustice and exploitation. So it is that the Sabbath can be understood as a tool of justice, foregrounding on 1 day in 7 a different set of values than those that are exalted in the marketplace. And by elevating these alternate values, reminding us of what it means to be human beings created in the image of a creative God. For most of us who've tried it, however, Sabbath tends not to feel much like liberation. An extended period of doing very little or even nothing at all can provoke boredom and even anxiety. And so we generally flee from the practice of Sabbath, seeking some form of entertainment, some hit of dopamine, some occupation of our mind and spirit, so that they will not become adrift in the sheer expanse of time. And indeed, it is time itself upon which I would like to focus for a moment, sharing a passage from the great Jewish rabbi and theologian Abraham Joshua Heschel. Heschel says this: "We know what to do with space, but do not know what to do about time, except to make it subservient to space, or to while it away, to kill time. However, time is life, and to kill time is to murder. Most of us seem to labor for the sake of things of space. As a result, we suffer from a deeply rooted dread of time and stand aghast when compelled to look into its face. Shrinking from facing time, we escape for shelter to things of space. Most of us do not live in time, but run away from it. We do not see its face, but its makeup. The past is either forgotten or preserved as a cliche, and the present moment is either bartered for a silly trinket or beclouded by false anticipations. The present moment is a zero, and so is the next moment, and a vast stretch of life turns out to be a series of zeros with no real number in front. Blind to the marvel of the present moment, we live with memories of moments missed, in anxiety about an emptiness that lies ahead. We are unprepared when the problem strikes us in unmitigated form. Time is our most important frontier, the advanced region of significant being, a region where our true freedom lies. Space divides us, time unites us. We wage wars over things of space. The treasures of time lie open to every one of us. It is the dimension of time wherein we meet God, wherein we become aware that every instant is an act of creation, a beginning, opening up new roads for ultimate realizations. Time is the presence of God in the world of space, and it is within time that we are able to sense the unity of all beings." End quote. It is the dimension of time wherein we meet God, wherein we become aware that every instant is an act of creation. So it is no wonder that we flee from Sabbath, because the open and unobstructed flow of time that can be experienced during Sabbath more readily than at most other times brings us into the realm of having a direct experience of God. And most of us tend to flee from direct experiences of God, even those of us who might say that we desire an unmediated experience of the divine tend also to pull back from the fullness of encounter when we begin to draw near. Why is this? Perhaps most of all, because to consent to an encounter with God is to open ourselves to the possibility of recreation. And to be recreated means to abandon, in some ways, control. And most of us tend to cling to what we know and to who we currently know ourselves to be, whether or not these versions of ourselves are serving us well. And so, following this line of thinking, we resist experiences of Sabbath because we are scared of experiencing time. And we are scared of experiencing time because we have a premonition that time is where we will meet God. And we are scared of meeting God because an encounter with God rarely leaves people unchanged. Moreover, many genuine encounters with God seem to provoke dramatic change. And most of us prefer the devil we know to the one we haven't yet met. In conclusion, then, I'd like to say a few things about Rosemary Herrick, who is here with us today for the first time since her stroke and for the last time before she moves to South Carolina. Welcome home, Rosemary. You see, Rosemary is consenting to leap into the unknown by choosing to move to South Carolina. And I know this move is really scary for her. For over a year, ever since her stroke, Rosemary has been bravely coping with the injustices of our healthcare system. But now, at this moment, she has found herself ready to say, "Enough is enough. I deserve better. I still have life to live." And Rosemary's nieces and nephew, likewise, have also found themselves saying, "Enough is enough. Aunt Rosemary deserves better, and we are called to be something better for her." There is a leap of faith on both sides. Rosemary's nieces and nephew are taking the leap of choosing to become caregivers. In particular, Rosemary's niece Rebecca has taken the leap of moving from Connecticut to South Carolina so that she and her siblings can live in one place as they become Rosemary's support system. Rosemary, likewise, is taking the leap of trusting that her sister's children will indeed care for her, and that they will provide a more dignified life than what she has known over the past year. And in both of these leaps of faith, I see, hear, and feel the clear presence of God, the God who desires our liberation from all that would bind us or diminish us. Rosemary, I pray that you would experience liberation in this new phase of your life. And I am grateful for the many ways that your life and your work as a therapist have been and will continue to be a source of liberation for others. May we all aspire to the same. Amen.